I'm sitting on the front porch, sipping my coffee, watching two middle-aged men in cheap tactical vests rough-handle my 17-year-old son, Oliver, as they slap zip ties on his wrists. These guys aren't law enforcement. They're not even security guards. They're from an HOA that I never agreed to join, and they're hauling him across our gravel driveway, all while shouting about their jurisdiction. Oliver's yelling for me, and I'm just standing here, dialing the sheriff, wondering how things ever got this out of hand. A few minutes ago, I was grilling sausages and battling with my coffee maker. Now, I'm watching my son get dragged around by a couple of wannabe enforcers who think their clipboards and matching khakis give them power. One of them's shouting out rules like he's reciting the Constitution, while the other trips over our garden hose, trying not to fall as he drags my kid like he's a criminal. Meanwhile, I'm barefoot, trying to figure out whether I should call the sheriff first or the news station. This all started about a month ago when Diane moved into the house behind ours. You know the type, sharp bob haircut, a voice like a recording, and a clipboard she never puts down. Within days of moving in, she declared herself the interim president of the HOA, even though our property isn't part of their jurisdiction. We're on a rural plot of land with our own water rights and separate easements. But Diane decided we were too close to her idea of what a neighborhood should look like, and that meant she had the right to govern us. I laughed, but Oliver didn't. He has a low tolerance for people who think their title gives them the right to boss others around. He probably gets that from me. The first time she made a move, she left a violation notice in our mailbox. No return address, just a blurry HOA logo and a list of made-up infractions. Unapproved fencing, motorized vehicles on private land, and improper landscaping. The fencing? It's barbed wire, standard for keeping livestock in check. The vehicles? Dirt bikes on Oliver's track in the back, on land that's been in our family for generations. Landscaping? A drought-resistant garden with solar-powered irrigation. But facts don't matter to Diane. Control does. A week later, she marched up our driveway uninvited and started snapping photos of our shed. Then she yelled at Oliver for riding his electric pit bike in our own yard, claiming it was against city rules. He was cruising around at 2 miles an hour, wearing a helmet, on our own dirt, but Diane wasn't interested in facts. She was intent on enforcing her power. Oliver told her to back off, and I couldn't help but laugh. Diane didn't find it funny. She stormed off, muttering about bylaws and neighborhood harmony. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. The next thing we knew, we started getting daily letters. Then came the warning signs nailed to our fence posts. Trespass notices, all from Diane and her little HOA gang. Last night, Oliver spotted someone snooping around the shed. They bolted when he turned on the floodlight, but not before he snapped a blurry picture of a polo shirt figure in cargo shorts. And now, this morning, I'm watching two HOA enforcers zip-tie Oliver's wrists in our own driveway, like it's a TV crime drama. As I scream for them to stop, one of them holds up a laminated ID badge that says Community Enforcement Officer. It's printed on cheap paper. I've seen better security badges on gas station receipts. I demand they let my son go. Diane appears out of nowhere, standing at the edge of her perfect lawn, arms crossed, phone in hand. She looks like she's documenting some kind of wildlife rescue. "We warned you," she says, as if Oliver was some kind of criminal. He violated Section 3 of the HOA's behavior codes regarding minor safety. I ask her if she's completely lost it. She tells me we've been notified multiple times, and this is the final straw. I don't shout. I don't threaten. I just say, "Hey Siri, call Sheriff Anderson." Diane's face turns pale. One of the fake enforcers asks, "Did he say sheriff?" I repeat myself, louder this time. "Sheriff Anderson. You know, the guy who coached Oliver's Little League team? The guy who barbecued ribs at our 4th of July cookout." Oliver is still zip-tied, but standing now, smirking. Sheriff Anderson picks up on the second ring. I keep my tone calm, like I'm reporting a pothole. "Hey, Sam, I got a couple of HOA cowboys zip-tying Oliver on my driveway, claiming they've got jurisdiction. Thought you might want to weigh in before I start pulling some legal triggers." There's a long pause, and then Sheriff Anderson says, "Hold tight. I'll be there in 5. Keep the porch warm." As I hang up, Diane starts to backpedal. "This is a lawful HOA intervention," she says, her confidence starting to waver. One of the enforcers accidentally untangles Oliver's arm, and he uses the opportunity to slip free. He doesn't run. He just stands there, arms still marked by the zip ties. "You people are insane," he mutters. Diane flinches. 5 minutes later, 2 sheriff cruisers roll up, gravel spraying everywhere. Sheriff Anderson steps out slowly, like he's walking up to a barbecue. He looks at Oliver, then at the 2 enforcers, and finally locks eyes with Diane. "Ma'am, did you just detain the sheriff's kid?" Diane opens her mouth, probably to spill more HOA nonsense, but nothing comes out. Sheriff Anderson turns to me and asks, "Want me to arrest all 3, or do you want to file charges first?" I smile and say, "Let's not rush to charges." I sip my coffee. I've got a better idea. Diane looks hopeful for a second, but she's about to learn I'm not being merciful. I'm being patient, because if she thinks this land falls under her HOA's jurisdiction, she's about to learn what happens when you mess with a veteran, a father, and the sheriff's best friend. The next morning, I'm already on the phone with my lawyer. None of that flashy billboard lawyer nonsense, just a quiet, county-savvy guy who knows how to work the system. We go over everything. The zip ties, the fake enforcers, Diane's imaginary jurisdiction. He chuckles once, then says, "Want to make this permanent?" I tell him I'm done playing defense. We schedule a meeting for noon. I spend the next few hours gathering every piece of evidence, deeds, maps, surveyor reports, and the original exemption from decades ago that Diane clearly doesn't know about. My grandfather had this land zoned as agricultural and private residence use, long before the cookie-cutter neighborhoods even existed. The HOA never bothered with us until Diane moved in. At noon, I meet with my lawyer and hand him a binder full of documents, including the photo Oliver took of the trespasser. My lawyer flips through it and nods. "You've got full legal standing to block them out. You've also got enough to issue a formal cease and desist order, plus a petition to force them to acknowledge the boundary." I ask how long that will take, and he raises an eyebrow. "Already emailed the county registrar. By the time I get home, Oliver's spray painting the new steel fence panels we picked up last week. We hadn't installed them yet, but now there's no reason to wait." We get to work. 2 hours into building the fence, Diane shows up, phone in hand, with that smug look. "You can't build a fence over 4 feet without HOA clearance," she says. I smile. "When not under the HOA." She responds, "It's still subject to community guidelines." I lean on my shovel. "This fence? It's about to be county approved. Feel free to check the permit list." The next day, the cease and desist letter goes out, stating they have no authority over our property. Diane doesn't back down, but the HOA board starts pulling away from her. She escalates, calling a zoning official who confirms our property is fine. She also tries to bring animal control and calls in a city inspector over an illegally poured concrete slab, which gets removed quickly. Oliver starts calling her General HOA, and I document everything. Diane fines us $500, but my lawyer brushes it off. The next night, I catch 2 men measuring our land. Diane's spying again. At the HOA meeting, I present the legal proof, and the board votes her out. A week later, Diane's house goes up for sale. No one sheds a tear. As for us, we finish the track and hang a hammock, enjoying quiet revenge.